Oh, wow. This is interesting, Will. Empty apartments in Manhattan reach record high, topping 13,000. People have evacuated the city.
Ooh.
They're in search of greener pastures. I think many of them are probably relatively nearby. Maybe some of them are in vacation homes. Maybe some of them are out of there temporarily, and they plan on coming back, but they haven't come back yet. The number of apartments for rent or listing inventory more than doubled over last year and set a record for the 14 years since the data has started to been collected. Hundreds of thousands of residents left the city in March and April at the beginning of the pandemic. Landlords hoped people would start coming back in the summer because things have kind of, fallen off a little bit in terms of new cases. They're trying to bring things back. They had hoped that things would come back, but not so much. People are staying out of town, and it's having a massive impact. The number of new leases signed fell by 23%. The rental prices had their largest fall in nearly a decade, dropping 10%. Landlords are now offering close to 2 months of free rent to try to lure people in. It's still an expensive place to be, for the record. It's not $5 for an apartment. And so some people will post online and say, yeah, right, here's a $10,000 a month studio. Well, yeah, those things are always going to exist and persist, but this is indicative of a greater kind of thing going on in the housing markets across many major cities. In the face of this pandemic, it turns out the dense city is not exactly the best place to be if you're locked down. And many people, I guess, began to consider that. It's still very expensive, as I mentioned. The average rental price for a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, Will, $4,620. Imagine that's a discount for you there, Will. But yeah, you can look. It's a tough gig out there. Many cities are experiencing the same thing. You tell me in the audience. Are you scrambling to get into a big city right now, or are you scrambling to get out? I'm curious. Are you one of the hundreds of thousands of people who booked it, who left a big city during this pandemic?